How is everybody doing? You need those to drive. Um, Oddly enough, the day was falling apart on me. I literally went about 20 minutes. I think Grok is still up. We had we asked Grok talk about natural law in regards to esoteric knowledge because we're on the care portion of the Hermetic laws. I think that's what they're referred to. I could be saying that part wrong. I decided to bring up the cremation of care and ask about that as well. And oh, yeah. What is the cremation of care ritual done at Bohemian Grove? It understood. Now, it sides with the elites on its data scraping. The cremation of care is an annual theatrical ritual. You see how they do that? Yeah, no, when you're going to the top rap artist and the big demon head opens up and you all go, ball, ball, ball. It's just a theater performance. None of that energy and vibration could go anywhere, right? You're just happy to be listening to music. Well, I was going off on that, and then I got lost because we have issues at work. And the truth is, I trashed it all. Went and ran an errand for my honey, dropped something off at the post office, come back, and the little dude who's been selling me rocks and I think doesn't get enough attention at home, which is heartbreaking, searches me out, would like me to buy more rocks. He likes that I talk to him, and I talk to him like a human being, not a get the hell away from me child. And I explained, hey, I'm busy. I got to work. Showed him the channel and his innocence. Well, how do I subscribe? How can I like that video? And I'm like, man, if I had a bot army and a bunch of kids, we would have already succeeded. I keep that box checked. None of my shit should go out to kids ever. There shouldn't be a chance of 8-year-olds watching us. That's not, none of this is for them. And I wonder now, is that how they do things? Is it okay if some of your clicks are coming from 6-year-olds that should never be watching your content? Because, boy, is that a skewed system. We are going to hop back and get going with the generative principle, the 8th secret principle. The irony is Passio's work should be more available, and it's too bad they didn't scrape any of that. Nowhere does it have a binding action item to make it happen, even though it uses good, alchemy, other things. It's interesting, but I really think Passio, that's why we brought it up. Because, boy, it doesn't understand it in regards, doesn't understand care in regards to esoteric knowledge, but it certainly understands the theatrical ritual or the perceived controversies of, burning a baby in effigy. As elite world leaders stand around in robes, I'm guessing touching themselves like the freaks they are, because I'm positive they're only out there to buy gay prostitutes. I hear that's how the place got outed in the first place. Turns out you just can't keep banging dudes all day without someone starting to talk about it. Who knew? Who knew you couldn't be a world leader and secretly into gay orgies? Someone would tell on you. I'm more, interested in their ideas. And when you get down to the esoteric knowledge and natural law part, let's see here. Where the ritual serves as a psychological tool to shift members' mindset, freeing them from worldly stress to foster camaraderie. But to, where was it? Oh, the ritual symbolized the act of burning care, could be seen as an attempt to manipulate consciousness, aligning with the esoteric ideas that intention shapes reality. And how can you take from the world if you care for it? Very interesting stuff that Grok, the AI can kind of understand. Passio, much more knowledgeable than the AI at this point, I can tell.
And generates the result that we say that we want. But what's the real term for it? Who can guess what the actual term, what the generative principle of creation actually is? No, it is not action. Okay, now most people will say it's love. I want to distinguish it from the concept of love, even as I'm going to describe love in this presentation a little bit later on. Okay? What is it?
Procreation.
No? What? Somebody said it.
Someone said it.
But somebody said something else. No? Who? Care. There it is. Okay? The generative principle is care. Now, this is different.
Now, to be fair, that's why I brought up that cremation of care search. I think that's why Passio knows it, because Passio was groomed for the satanic influence side and then broke free from what he has said to us. So, it is the dark occultists who have to destroy care. Then, let's be honest, come on, let's go. It's consumption and destruction, the action items they replace it with.
Than compassion. People say, why don't you use the word compassion? Because that's not what I'm talking about. It is a different concept than compassion, or even what I would describe as love.
Yeah. No, why? Yeah, I think I get it even farther now, because technically care in itself is a benign, low force energy, like gravity. Very benign in most points. In my first attempt to do this, I used an example of a dirty pizza oven and my clean kitchen. And the benign nature of the care in that sake is just being willing to see what has to be seen. And out front, the total lack of care from never noticing issues. And I went off hard because it seems like it's not complicated. And care is the only component that fills all the voids. Because compassion, love, that's not why I'm keeping the kitchen clean. I'm keeping it because it's the moral and ethical thing to do to keep you from getting dirty food. Right? It's just... the right thing isn't, it's just the right thing. And what guides the right thing? Usually natural law and your connection of care to the rules that exist. You know what's moral. You know what's ethical. You get that weird feeling in your stomach when you hear the opposite of it. I believe that's that care principle kicking in, making you realize, that don't align with reality.
And I mean care with a capital C. And here I didn't even put it with a capital C. I'm just putting it in all uppercase. All uppercase care. Distinguish this from care with a lowercase c. Okay? This means, what are you giving attention and helping to grow? What are you focusing upon? Because what focus you're focusing upon, that's what's ultimately getting generated, getting created, and growing. And this doesn't mean be ignorant of what's going on in the world and don't look at anything that's negative, because you're going to feed that and give power to it. That's not what it means.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm so bad. I think this actually makes sense because I use this as a reverse technique. I focus on some negative things to dispel them and keep them out of my life. when I'm thinking about hitting a deer, I'm not forcing the deer into my car. I'm focusing on care that I don't want to take that life, is how I see it. So I don't want to take the life of an animal crossing the road. I consider the ramifications of it all at all times, focusing on the negative side effects to try to dispel those negative things from being drawn into me. I find that it works very well, but I feel it's a form of magic, a manifested in reality. I do believe that. Because there are no, the hurdles in the way of hitting the animals are what? I drive on the road and animals exist. There's nothing else in place to manifest this reality except blind chance. So focusing on it and then trying to dispel it in mind, as far as I know, I hit a deer the first year I've moved out here, and I haven't been close for 6 years since. But I had mantras, beliefs, and little prayers to the forest creatures to keep them away from me. Do I think it's actually working? Well, yes, I think that, but I don't think you should believe it. I think you should try some techniques to dispel negative energy around you and keep it away from you. And do I succeed? No, not even close. The most I can do is manifest no animals in my way. Now on the bike, it's a different story. I had like 3 squirrels, a chipmunk, and 2 deer on my ride in yesterday. All too close for comfort. So it's weird how it all works. Just slowing down weird, not hit them weird. But yeah, so I do believe you can dispel negativity by focusing on negativity, but I think it's complicated.
Getting created and growing. And this doesn't mean be ignorant of what's going on in the world and don't look at anything that's negative because you're going to feed that and give power to it. That's not what it means. Okay? That means, you know what you're feeding? In that instance, if you want to do that, you're feeding ignorance. And that's what's going to grow. It's the exact opposite that the New Agers want you to believe that it is. By ignoring the...
Because I'm dispelling, not bringing forth to me. That's the difference. Because they think if you think about it, it manifests, but the hurdles in the way that keep things from manifesting. They use fantasy scenarios because they want lightning to fly out of their fingers. I want to be wise enough to observe the animals long before they hit my car. There's huge differences there.
It's the exact opposite that the New Agers want you to believe that it is. By ignoring the negative, you are ensuring that more of it occurs. You are fueling it by ignorance, ensuring that it grows.
Oh, he says it there. I didn't notice. Yes, it's the focus energy is the dispelling, because in no part of am I hoping it happens. So the energy and the focus is creating vibration. For me, I guess it's like a sonic horn on my car warning them. This person wants you to live.
Okay? What care has to be looked at here as is, this is what you're giving your energy to. This is what you're focused upon. This is what you actually care enough about to do, to spend your time on, to put your attention on, to manifest in the world. That's what I'm talking about as care, okay? That's what generates our experience in the aggregate. Most people don't care about what's really happening. Therefore, it is an impossibility for us in the aggregate to change the direction of energy, to change the direction of consciousness, and ultimately to get what we say we want. That's how the real law of attraction works, all right? Here's how it actually operates. The lost principle is the dynamic of care. What we care about on a day-to-day basis acts as the driving force of our thoughts and actions. What did I say we need to develop? The heart, mind, guts, right? Heart, mind, guts, in that order. Care comes first. You got to care enough to know, to develop the knowledge, okay? Then you got to act on it and put it into practice. Apply it. So that's the order. Heart, mind.
Maybe I'm nuts. Marty, am I crazy? My manifesting no animal story does actually apply to what he's saying here. I don't know if it's real. For me, it's real. For you, I don't know. But I think from what he's saying and what I'm trying to explain, it's the same thing. To me, that's just hugely important because they didn't do shit to me. This idea you just run stuff down because the insurance company tells you to breaks my heart. They don't replace my car anyways. That's one of the problems.
Mind, guts, care, knowledge, action. Those are the steps, okay? And all three of those have to be in place. All three. That's what unity consciousness is. It's unifying thoughts, emotions, and actions. The three aspects of consciousness, such that there is no contradiction between them. Our thoughts, what we say, what we think, how we feel, and how we act are one and the same. There's no contradiction. That's unity consciousness, okay? Therefore, okay, since care is the driver.
This is where it went off the rails the first time, so we're going to just listen. I'm going to try to shut my pie hole. As I'm falling short in a lot of areas, and I have this chaotic mindset where everything is to punish me. I don't know if it's because I was locked in a cage for too long, if I was a slave to substances too long, but it feels like everything that should be, hey, this will help me get more raises, move up, and be popular. And honestly, I got a fucking shout out on, some Facebook page. And I don't put a lot of faith in that as something valuable, but I mean, people are really happy with the consistency over the last year. And I can't find a way to give myself credit, even though I know I'm a huge part of it and believe that I manifested this into reality with hard work, effort, and care. But I also feel punished for it. And sometimes I'm like, well, I don't want to be the reason someone else succeeds. I don't really succeed from it. I make a little bit, but I mean, if it fell apart, I'd be broke in a month, I could pay my bills for a couple months, but then I'd be done again. I'll never get ahead from taking care of someone else. But because there's no labor here, and nobody likes a rambling idiot except, maybe a couple people, I can't figure out how to make anything happen over here. There's nothing to touch. There's nothing to create. There's nothing to build. There's only pre-existing ideas you can copy and steal from, and I hate that. So I'm struggling to get my life right. Miserable a lot. Feel like the world is just a weight. At the same time, I'm committed to do even more. So this is my final example on this, and I'll push play. Just like the animals, I somehow focus on the negative aspects of my life a lot, but then try to push them away, getting over that hurdle to show up on time the next day. Never missed a day. 14 months, never missed a day. Never been late. It's too bad that skill set didn't convey to YouTube. That part's kicking me. My number's in the toilet. Marty, thank God I just like talking to you.
Of our thoughts and actions, it ultimately can be seen as the generator of the quality of our shared experience here on the earth. Care is what generates the whole thing. Hence, it has been called the generative principle.
Oh, fuck. Is it because I care about talking to you instead of what everyone else could benefit me? Ooh. I think care might be what keeps me from succeeding at YouTube, but has made me succeed. Like I said, I'm no bullshit. I'm making more. I think I said this on the other one, but I just got another raise, so now I'm making more than I've ever made in my life. I'm equal to roofer pay as a short order cook. That's pretty good.
Liken the heart to a pump in the body. Well, what does a pump do? It's a generator. It provides energy. It moves the life force through the blood in the body. In every ancient tradition, they talk about the life force being in the blood. The heart is what pumps that through the whole physiology and enables us to continue to sustain life. Okay? The heart is the generator. It's the pump. It's the center of the being. As important as the brain is, which we just talked about the importance of it, the heart is ultimately what's generating the experience, because what we care about determines what we think about on a daily basis most of the time, and therefore how we behave. All right? So,
I am torn between two masters, and that is something you can't serve. My loyalty to one place creates a backlash in the other. It's hard to take care of myself or do something for me if I'm constantly worried about others. And it's a good and bad thing. I wouldn't want to take it away because sometimes we need an example. And I've tried to be an example in my own personal life for a while now.
This principle has often been referred to as the generative principle. Is anybody familiar with the compasses and square symbol of Freemasonry? With the G in the middle? Well, that's what the G stands for at the highest level. They'll talk about many porch masons. These are the exoteric masons that are given the teachings of the profane and they think they're in the know, okay? They're given the information, well, this only means geometry, it only means God, etc., okay? One of the things they'll tell you it means at a slightly higher level is that it means gnosis, knowledge, okay, which we saw the meaning of in Greek earlier. At a higher level, at illuminated levels of Freemasonry, which are above 32nd degree, they will give you what the real meaning of the G inside the compasses and square is. And it is the generative principle. It means genesis, creation, okay? And yeah, you can tie that right back to God. I'm not saying those things are different. And the forms that get created in the physical manifested world.
As always, you should support Mark Passio, what he does. This entire seminar is great. I think I just got what I would say to the Masonic Hall if I went to join. I'm seriously considering it still because I need to find a way without cremating and destroying care to focus on building something better for myself before it's too late. Because I'm only good at helping others. I'll tell you a secret. I just wanted all the money to go to Ange. I was just going to give it all to her, right? Because she cared about making a living from it. So I just wanted, it's like the movie I was in. I signed off and did that shit for free. That's why they were all able to sue each other and I didn't have a say. Even though I'd put more energy and manifestation into that than anything I'd done in my life. Prior to that was the band, and that shouldn't have happened, but it came together. And I've been thinking about it for years. Why haven't I been able to create and bring to life another project? And it's because in the end, I'm only good at helping someone else succeed. I wanted the director or the producer to make it big and then just didn't keep giving me jobs. Shh, you don't got to tell everybody I'm your muse. Let's just go spend the money because you're into it. I can't even deal with the complications of a groupie or a super fan. I can only deal with the real people out back behind the bus. I'd hang out with the, the drivers or the fucking crew. You can find me with the grips running electrical cord. But I certainly wouldn't want to be in front of a camera or the spotlight. That's why acting was perfect. That's not live either. It was awesome. I loved it. The problem is I'm not an actual actor, and then they all want that other side of things, and I don't know how to destroy the part of me that knows that's wrong. But I don't want to. Oh, fuck. We do know. It's care, and the problem is I'd have to destroy the care to serve self. And I'm really struggling with that. Man, did I need a partner to do these fucking reactions so they could just get paid. Do you know I could beg for my partner because it'd be my job, but I can't ask for myself? It kills me. Even dicking around with the reverse psychology like this moment here, it just feels dirty. It shouldn't be about that. But technically, that's a component. So it's just fucking bullshit. And this is what happened last time. Because the truth of the matter is I'm so frustrated. I don't want to quit. But I don't. All of the music that got us numbers has all been copywritten. Copyright strikes. It turns out that this gig is shitty because the fair use is some crudgel to beat you with. And it's not an item to free you. Our opinions don't fucking matter if it clashes with the people who own the stuff. And once you create it, we should be able to skew it all we want. It's not what you say it is, it's how society receives it. That's the problem. And it seems like they want to curate the whole experience. Pisses me off. Sorry, I got blown up. Someone trying to sell me views. They try to sell us views all the time. You have no idea how everybody tells you if you just pay them, you'll succeed. And I'm wondering if they cut out the loopholes that create the middlemen who create this problem, couldn't we all just have a fair playing ground? I would think being a hardworking individual would have got some rewards, but it doesn't.
Are geometric forms. So it is geometry as well. It's all.
So yeah, how do I go in the Masonic Hall and tell them I need to succeed without being evil? Can you guys help me with that, or is it just strictly evil at the top? Is the only way to succeed to destroy care?
All these things. But at the highest level, it's the generative principle. That's what that
I would think no. So the answer is if they couldn't help me, then the entire lodge is corrupt. In fact, I got to go find someone over there that I can have a Mark Passio-esque conversation with and start this in the real world, because I'm telling you, I'm running out of time, and I believe I was meant for something more. God, you got to be greedy to be meant for something more. If only I coveted a supercar, I could have probably succeeded by the time I was 25. If I coveted clothes, maybe I could have joined society like the rest of the douchebags that dress up to impress each other. They have no personality whatsoever, but they all wear the same label, so they're cool with each other. They make friends easy. I literally talked to the new cook yesterday. I'm like, I'm just going to ask you one thing. I mean, are you moral? Are you ethical? Because that's what I've been taught to think like.
He really stands for in esoteric Freemasonry. Okay? It's called the generative principle because that means to create. It comes from, the word generative comes from Latin. The verb generare, as we've already talked about, means to create. The generative principle is what we create through. And it's lost because people don't care. They don't have care.
It is lost. Even Grok. So this is, how smart is that AI if this is that old, but it doesn't even have a asterisk to improve, to include this data? So then whose approved data is it scraping? Is it only the influencers? Because I'll tell you one thing, and I like this person. But it's right down here, I can see that one of those icons is from one of the most community noted accounts on X. They tell 40% truth for sure, and then they grift their way to the top. And it turns out, just like everybody else, you know what you won't ever see on my fucking channel? Oh, copyright strike's getting me down. Help me out now. That shit's disgusting that they do that. We all want to get together and figure out why there's not a fucking set of rules. We would be better served. Grifting off it happening is the stupidest fucking thing ever. And I wonder, maybe the example's right here. Because even the advanced AIs don't go as far as Passio. Because I think Passio is freeing us from a control system. Everyone else is literally just playing within the control system.
Hence, it's the lost principle, okay? Here's how it works, folks.
Okay.
What we care enough to put our will behind, okay? So again, heart, mind, guts. Guts is the will, the action, the masculine principle. That's what gets things done ultimately in the physical domain. What we care enough to put our will behind, and that's driven by the care. That's the generator or the pump that drives the will, okay? What we care enough to put our will behind is ultimately what gets created or manifested in our world. The world is the way that it is because most people do not care enough, even if they say, they pay lip service, okay, and say that they want things to be different. They don't care enough to actually change it through their actions. Because when it comes all down to it, and I said this in my New Age, BS seminar or lecture, okay? What it comes down to is preventing action. Preventing action. That's what the New Age community is designed to do. They want people inactive because the dark occultists know that the thing that is ultimately generating our reality is behavior, as you saw in that simple.
Oh, yeah, and they make it all consumption. All of the little junior purple-haired witches out here in the country, they have all the symbols, they have all the tattoos, and they have all the bumper stickers. None of them can explain how they're not serving self and left-hand path to me. None of them. None of them can tell me what, well, we get into the grand right and the perfect union and the balancing of the gender principles in that ultimate coupling, creating life or energy. It all falls apart. I guess the priest is the batteries in the dildo.
4-part chart, that little building block chart that I put up there. Action is what's generating the reality. That gets generated through what we care about because our cares and our desires drive our actions. Okay? So most people will say they want things to change, but then when you say
no, they want an invitation to the orgy. That's what the lesbian coven witches really want. is they want the pleasure of serving self. And what they do is consume the tie-dyed t-shirts, if you will, the keep on truckin' sticker, if you will, the commercial, consumable side of a movement that has already been watered down to nothing. I don't mean to pick on lesbians. I have nothing against lesbians. It's just the lesbian coven witch set is a lot more powerful than you think. I literally just dropped something off, and in my little 900-person town, there is a lady, maybe looked like she was looking at property, waiting for a realtor, and her shorts covered in the coexist symbols. And I was like, well, you don't want to coexist with strong men. I can see that all over your face. You think the bear is safer. But those pants represent her position in this world. She's free and liberated because she thinks all of that has value. That's why he constantly was condemning the New Age movement. It was the New Age movement that dragged me into satanic worship, for sure. Into a Luciferian left-hand path stuff. It was the New Age idea that you had to break free from your father's control system no matter what. And then the entire indoctrination process. We don't believe in God. We believe in serving ourselves. You're the God. But then look around and see what self-service has manifested. What's good about this thing? Gosh, hold on. Did I not change the number? Yay, I didn't even do that. Well, I've burned through 2 hours of time. I've got 36 minutes of tape, and I still don't think we've accomplished anything. But all the other ranting and raving didn't feel good either. So hopefully at least Passio got through to you, and I didn't ruin the whole thing.
Hey, what are you doing to make that change happen? Not a word. Silence comes back on the other end. Okay? So, they don't care enough to change it through their actions. That's what the generative or lost principle is about. And until that principle is regained and people get out of their laziness and most of all get out of their cowardice. Again, in that New Age lecture, I'm talking about what it ultimately comes down to in the New Age movement. And I'll look at any New Ager in the eyes. They're cowards.
We have a bee problem at work. Now, this isn't about New Agers. This is about human nature. And I wish they would have recorded it. You don't have to believe me. I can see if I can get the one video. They did record some. But as soon as I didn't get stung, they quit recording. And after I was done with my chore, I turned to the camera. I said, it's a damn shame you don't have that camera on still. And I went into well, this is why you all go to NASCAR. You go to NASCAR to see someone crash and die. The three of you are down here watching me do this so I can get stung and you can celebrate that moment by saying, I told you so. But what I realized was that all I needed was the confidence and observational skill to not walk into a cloud of bees, and the chemical warfare that I was going to go fight them with made me a superior combatant. I was going to kick those bees' ass no matter what. But out of the 4 people that walked down there, only one person had confidence enough to believe it was going to be successful. The other 3 were looking to stare at a car wreck. And I accused them of it. I let them know. I said, maybe it's because you're more worried about the bee sting than that being a public dock and some kids being stung by it. Now, you don't have to believe me. But I'm telling you, what made me go take care of this for the house was the fact that everybody else was a coward. everybody else was concerned with their own well-being, and not a single person except for my boss who wanted it to do it for. The reason we were doing this is so families wouldn't get stung coming down the dock to do business at our company. Now, I believe worrying about them first is what we've been listening to. And we're ending with the fact that people would rather watch a tragedy unfold than ever stop it. Shit. We better go to one more because that's a heavy fucking thought to end on.